The air in Lower Manhattan felt thick. June 2025 had arrived, not with summer breezes, but with the chilling draft of a legal storm. Sean Diddy Combs, an icon synonymous with music, fashion, and immense wealth, now faced a different kind of spotlight. This was the cold, unyielding glare of the justice system. The charges were serious, whispered across newsrooms and social media feeds, painting a starkly different picture of the man many thought they knew. The city, and indeed the world, watched, holding its breath for what was to unfold within those hallowed courtroom walls. The trial promised drama from its inception. It was more than a legal proceeding. It was a cultural moment, a reckoning. The public gallery buzzed daily, a silent chorus to the unfolding narrative. Each piece of evidence, each witness testimony was destined to be dissected, analyzed, and broadcast globally. The defense, a high-powered assembly of legal minds, prepared for war. The prosecution, equally determined, aimed to dismantle a carefully constructed empire of image and influence. This was not just about one man's freedom. It was about power, accountability, and the stories that hide in plain sight, often shielded by fame and fortune. The stakes could not be higher. The city braced itself. Diddy's trial was not merely a courtroom drama, it was a spectacle. The first week of the trial was a meticulous, almost theatrical setup. Jury selection itself became a microcosm of the public's fascination and division. Potential jurors were probed for biases, for their knowledge of Sean Combs, for their exposure to the relentless media coverage. Finding 12 impartial individuals, plus alternates, felt like searching for needles in a haystack of public opinion. Opening statements were delivered with calculated precision. The prosecution painted a grim picture, outlining a pattern of alleged misconduct. They promised to unveil a hidden side of the Combs empire, a narrative starkly contrasting with his public persona. Diddy's defense team countered with equal force. They portrayed their client as a victim of a smear campaign, a successful black man targeted by opportunists and a sensationalist media. The courtroom became a battlefield of words, each side vying for control of the narrative. The truth an elusive prize. As the trial moved into its second week, the prosecution began to escalate its presentation. They called witnesses who claimed to have first-hand knowledge of the events central to the charges. Each person who took the stand added another thread to the complex tapestry the prosecution was weaving. The evidence presented was varied. There were documents, digital communications, and audio snippets, each item introduced with a careful explanation of its alleged relevance. The defense, in turn, objected frequently, challenging the admissibility of certain pieces of evidence. Cross-examinations by Diddy's legal team were intense and surgical. They probed for inconsistencies in witness testimonies, questioned their memories, and explored potential biases. The atmosphere in the courtroom grew heavier with each passing day. Week 3. Tremor's damaging testimonies rattled the defense. The third week of the trial delivered the bombshells that had been anticipated. The prosecution brought forth witnesses whose testimonies sent shockwaves through the courtroom. One former associate, whose identity had been closely guarded, took the stand. Their voice, at times trembling, recounted specific incidents with harrowing detail. They alleged direct involvement of Diddy in activities that, if proven true, would be incredibly damaging. The prosecution presented corroborating evidence, perhaps a secretly recorded conversation or a damning email chain. Another key testimony came from an individual previously thought to be a loyal member of Diddy's inner circle. This witness described a culture of intimidation and control. The impact of these Week 3 testimonies was immediate. The courtroom drama was no longer confined to the courtroom. It was playing out in real time in the court of public opinion. The persistent antagonist, 50 Cent's campaign from the sidelines. Throughout the trial, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson maintained his relentless, almost gleeful commentary. His social media feeds became a running, often brutal chronicle of the proceedings. Every misstep by the defense, every damaging piece of testimony was amplified by 50 Cent. He seemed to revel in Combs's predicament, turning his long-standing feud into a public spectacle. This digital onslaught was not just random noise, it was a calculated campaign. 50 Cent framed the trial as an inevitable downfall, a karmic retribution for past grievances. His posts reached millions, shaping public perception. The impact of 50 Cent's constant barrage was multifaceted. The pardon gambit Curtis Jackson draws a line in the sand. Amidst the escalating courtroom drama and his own relentless social media commentary, 50 Cent dropped a particularly provocative bombshell. He publicly vowed to use his influence to ensure that, should Diddy be convicted, he would not receive a presidential pardon. This declaration was audacious, injecting a potent dose of political maneuvering into an already complex legal battle. It was a clear statement of intent, a promise to extend his campaign against Diddy beyond the courtroom. The significance of this no-Trump pardon vow was manifold. It preemptively sought to close an escape hatch for Diddy. This vow immediately resonated with the public and media, adding another layer to the ongoing saga. It framed the conflict not just as a personal vendetta or a legal dispute, but as a battle with potential political ramifications. Whether he truly possessed the clout to block such a pardon was debatable, but the declaration itself served its purpose. Beyond the verdict, the unseen scars, and the path ahead. As the Diddy trial progresses beyond its third tumultuous week, the path ahead remains shrouded in uncertainty. The prosecution will continue to present its case, likely calling more witnesses and introducing further evidence. Then the focus will shift entirely to the defense. They will have their opportunity to present their own witnesses, to offer alternative explanations for the evidence presented. This phase will be critical, as Diddy's legal team attempts to rebuild his image in the eyes of the jury. Regardless of the eventual verdict, the trial has already inflicted deep and lasting scars. Sean Combs's reputation, once a towering edifice of success, has been irrevocably damaged. Even an acquittal might not fully restore what has been lost in the court of public opinion. This trial will be a defining chapter in his life story, no matter its legal conclusion.